and this is an opinion of many, that England lost that final is when he came off the pitch.
An exciting project, because let's be fair, West Ham are shit. You're not a good club, you're crap. So overall,
It's a bit harsh.
No.
I listened to the same thing. I listened to a bunch of people in a room telling me that this team that they'd assembled were the greatest football team that have ever existed. They're going to go on to achieve more than Man United, more than Liverpool, more European Cup. You've never won a European Cup, never.
So that's the reason why. So that just shows the level of the club.
Frank Lampard.
It just
went on to win the Ballon d'Or. He played for West Ham.
But he wasn't world class at the time, was he?
No, he wasn't.
But that's what I'm telling you.
Welcome back to AFTV, everyone. Welcome to a super fan debate in the transfer window. There's a good reason why we're doing this, and I'll explain that in a little bit. You'll have seen on the channel that we keep talking about what does Declan Rice bring to Arsenal? Where does he fit in? Why do we want to sign him? Why do we want to spend 100 million? But maybe we should be asking the question, are we even good enough for him? That's what West Ham fans are saying, and we're going to have a really good debate about it. So let's welcome the guys from West Ham Fan TV, Nicky Hawkins and Dan Lawless. Welcome to AFT. He's not even clapping.
Look at this guy.
Listen, I smell something in here. It's a hot day, but it ain't no BO, I tell you that much.
Look at
it. It is coming from that direction of the room, but you know.
Wow, we're not even 30 seconds in.
I don't know. Nice guys, but I don't know, something smells.
By the way, legitimate congrats on the Conference League final.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate that.
The scenes were unbelievable, and you guys were out there as well. And I know, obviously, you had the parade.
Yeah.
Must have been amazing.
Yeah, my liver is still recovering, so
Yeah, we celebrated that one, James. But
for sure, it
I'll
was.
continue to. Till West Ham kick a professional sort of a ball in a professional game again. I'll just keep enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, until someone else wins it, we're still the reigning champions, you know, until someone wins it. So this is a season-long party for sure.
Very true. And let's welcome back Goonlee and Robbie from AFTV, of course. Welcome both. You two.
That clap was for Robbie, not for you, by the way.
And you started already, because you two are having a good old back and forth on Twitter. You're all good, yeah? I mean, I know we're going to re-spark it.
Dan Lawless is a nice guy, but I tell you what, online.
Are you sure? Because we got some evidence here.
Different kind of guy online, yeah.
This guy, Mr. Quote Tweet, like he doesn't know how to use the reply button. He only uses the quote tweet.
You know what? I only quote tweet things that I know that everyone needs to see what is nonsense, basically. Yeah. So anything that you put online that's nonsense, I need the world to see it.
So if you haven't seen this on Twitter, everyone, they were going back and forth. It was quite funny. And Lee started it in real classy fashion. Lawless started with, Lawless was replying, you were talking to other West Ham fans.
Yeah.
You said, no one is saying that it's not a step up for us to go to Arsenal, but it's their first finish in the top 4 for 7 years, one good season, now they've arrived, apparently it's ridiculous. Lee replied with, seek help, bro. Which started a big back and forth in which you were saying, my point is, if he's going to leave, he needs to leave to go to a club that will definitely win trophies. You just got back in the Champions League, slow down, you ain't at the top of the mountain yet. Lee replied with, you've literally avoided the whole question. You were talking about someone else at the time, but you said, for Arsenal to close the gap, how do Arsenal close the gap if they don't invest in players like Rice, who are top quality? Then you end up saying you're a proper solid guy, but you're chatting absolute dog shite. I have no idea why. To which Dan replies, does signing Rice close the gap though? You don't even rate him, and you've told us time and time again that Partey is better. So how does it close the gap? This is because of the time you wanted Caicedo over Rice, and you actually had a debate with Robbie on AFTV about Rice and Caicedo. Nicky decides to tweet 5th, 6th, 5th, 8th, 8th, 5th, 2nd. Yet I'm supposed to believe that this is the team that is going to challenge for the title again. Lots of talk. A lot of Arsenal fans came in.
Oh, they came in.
Did they?
Yeah, and you might have noticed, to which Nicky said, I'm going to scare you all now. I remember having a conversation in a pub a bit before social media with loads of my Arsenal pals. Arsenal just had an invincible season and they were all telling me this was the greatest team ever assembled and they were set to dominate for the next 10 years. And I think your following tweet after that was, I'm bored now, please leave me alone. Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So, welcome. Because I actually think amongst all the some banter, some people genuinely getting frustrated and angry with each other. That's a really good debate here. Declan Rice is a player that, Nicky, fair play to you. It was dug up actually on the AFTV Extra channel. When you did a combined 11, you said, I believe Rice is up there with any player we've had, young player coming through, and you had a really good chat about it, and now Arsenal are front runners to bring him in. So let's ask the question that you guys have been asking, do you believe Arsenal are good enough for Declan Rice?
It's an interesting. To me, in a word, yeah. Look at it short term, yes. But my point is if you're Declan Rice, this is your big move. If you've got the opportunity to make that big step, make it to a club that you know are there already. Because you can sign Rice, and Rice is going to help you get there, but there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee of it. He could sign for Arsenal, and then the wheels could fall off. Do you know what I mean? It might not fit, or they might not get that other player. Havertz could happen, and that just. Do you know what I mean? There's so many factors that can affect it, and because you haven't, like I said, you had this season challenging, and I think there's an assumption that this is it now. Every season, we're up there, we're back, and like Nicky pointed out, there's been a lot of that. And next season in the Champions League with more games, teams now, you're not the surprise package like last season. People weren't ready for that Arsenal. Now teams are going to be playing a different way. They're going to know what to expect. So I think it's going to be a bit more of a tougher battle. Could Rice help you push up and kick on, make you a better side?
That's exactly why we're buying him, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Does Rice, and that's what I'm saying. He's sitting there, Gunnar Lee, of all the people, is saying Rice is going to help us get there. Doesn't think he's better than Partey, doesn't think he's better than Caicedo, but Rice is now the X factor, the shameless man, as in what do you call it? Open bracket, close bracket, Declan Rice Stan account. Yeah, Declan Rice Stan account. This is the sort of duality of Arsenal fans that I find.
I think, look, ultimately, whether or not I want him, that's besides the point. I think what you need to do is you need to look at the player, and I think what he's going to offer Arsenal. And again, it's not about whether or not I think I didn't say he's never been a good player. I just said that I feel there are other players who will help Arsenal move forward. But I think players like Rice will do a job for Arsenal, and I think they'll do a good job for Arsenal. Yeah, he will do a job. And you got to think, right?
120 million for a job.
When you look at Arsenal, what I mean by doing a job is, we have cogs in this big machine, and he's going to fit into that left 8 or that 6 role, and he will fit and do a great job. He will do a great job. But do I think there are other players that can do a better job than him? Yes, unfortunately, that is the case. Rice isn't a world-class player at this moment in time. He isn't. Rice is not a world-class player, and if we're going to go off that rhetoric, then Saka.
I think he's on it. But with me and you disagreed that time on the stream, because I think he is getting towards being world class.
Yeah, he is, but so is Saka, right?
Because you got to look at it with Declan Rice, right? He's been brilliant at West Ham, despite even when they've been going through tough times, he's been brilliant, right? But even as an international player, he's one of the best midfielders around. I mean, you got to remember, I think a lot of people downplay this too much. England reached the final of the Euros and the semi-finals of the World Cup, and he was one of the best players. I think he was exceptional. So he's a top player.
He is, but I think, again, this isn't about Rice. This isn't the show that we're going to talk about. But I'm just only going to defend the point of, if we can't call Saka world class because he's not played in the Champions League.
I'm not calling him world class.
No, but
he's on his way to
they're on the cusp of world class. I agree. So if people are saying Saka is not world class and he's played at a higher level and he's been more consistent and he's been more of a mainstay in England and for Arsenal in the trajectory of them getting them higher up in the league, I don't think we can call Rice world class, and I think that's fair to say. Doesn't mean they're not good players. It just means that they're emerging like the Arsenal team.
It's too early to call either of them world class.
I would. He's world class.
But he hasn't played in the Champions League.
That's what played in the European Championship finals and the World Cup, and was the reason. And this is an opinion of many, that England lost that final is when he came off the pitch. Loads of people said the moment we lost that final was when Declan Rice came off the pitch. If that's not world class, what is world class? If you are the difference, what is world class?
Because I think what they call and what people will say about world class is it's been the longevity factor and doing it against the best teams in
He's
Champions
the most
League.
Consistent. I've seen Lampard. Was Lampard world class? Was Rio world class? Because at West Ham, he is more consistent than any of them ever. But he brushes them under the carpet, and I will go on record to say this: Declan Rice, when he leaves West Ham, he's never going to get better under David Moyes. Let's be honest. He's not going to make the next step. This is why it's perfect for everyone. Listen, and it's not an Arsenal thing. This is what I was tweeting yesterday. It's not an Arsenal thing. I don't care where Declan Rice goes. As long as he don't turn up in a Tottenham shirt or a Millwall shirt, I don't give him a fuck where he goes. Excuse my language. I don't care where he goes. Declan Rice has earned so much respect from us that he can choose wherever he wants to go. Wherever he wants to go.
Provided they pay
provided they, the deal is good for everybody. So I don't care. Like, it's not a saltiness. And this is what Arsenal fans are getting at. We're taking your captain. Well, I've already resigned losing my captain 2 years ago because that's when I thought he'd go to Chelsea or Man United. Yeah, he is a top player that will be the top player in his position.
Yeah, but Dan was saying, like, the way I take a bit of things is because Dan, you're saying that almost like Arsenal's not much of a step up for him. It's like, he's like, what chances?
But I said this in my tweet as well, Robbie. I said this in my tweet as well. There has to be consistency. Rice is consistent. He's consistently. Will he help Arsenal? Yes, absolutely.
But that's why we're getting him.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but are you getting him?
And we're trying to get him. I reckon he will come. I reckon he'll come. All the sounds is that he wants to come to Arsenal.
He could come.
He ain't turning down no Man City though. Let's be honest. If Man City
we don't know if Man City are definitely going to come in for him yet. If Man City come in for him, obviously it's a problem. But I still think he'll come to Arsenal, and I think him coming to Arsenal would be a better thing for him. For him as an all-round player. Yeah. Because of course trophies is important, but he can win trophies. He'd be more guaranteed to win trophies at Man City.
Probably the only guarantee.
Right? Yeah, that's the only place you go there. You're guaranteed to win a trophy. Right?
I think Man United with Qatar is a different prospect.
But coming to Arsenal right now, Arsenal's one of the most exciting teams and exciting projects around in football now. You saw the football we played last year, right?
But I've also seen
we were playing teams off the park, right?
At the start.
Not just at the start, throughout the season.
You tailed off towards the end.
Tailed off right at the end.
Yes, the last 10 games.
But we were playing teams off the park. We were playing exceptional football. We're an exciting team, right? The whole, everything around Arsenal right now has been buzzing, right? That's the whole reason you go to get a Declan Rice now, to take it to the next level. We nearly won the league. If we had players like Declan Rice in with their quality, maybe we could have gone all the way. That's what you've got to do. That's what you've got to add to get over the line. So to say your thing where you're saying fifth.
Yeah, but I don't have to believe.
Right, that's in the past. This is how. What I've seen. Hold on, let me just finish.
Okay.
It's a bit like if when Liverpool were buying Van Dijk, you turn around and you say to Van Dijk, well, what are you going to Liverpool for? Go to City. Right, you're guaranteed. No, you're going. You're supposed to be that added.
You're the cherry on the top.
That makes the team go and win the league.
You believe Arsenal's back, don't you? You believe this is it. You've arrived.
Do you know? We are back. We haven't arrived, but we are back.
Do you know what I've seen as well, right? And this is the truth, right? And there's progress under Arteta. Yeah, there's progression, no doubt about it.
Tangible.
But what I've seen over the last 2 years. And this is fact, is that you were chasing a prize and you lost the prize. In last year, you was chasing the Champions League and you bottled it.
It was in your hands, yeah?
Yeah, it was in your hands and you bottled it. You dropped out, Tottenham went above you. Last year, top of the Premier League, you was chasing that prize. We're going to win this prize. In your hand.
So first.
Why would you say?
Yeah. So now what do we need? We need winners, right? So if we need winners. What did you just win? You won the poxy little European trophy, and now you think you're the big dog in London.
I don't think we're nothing.
If that's the case, then we now need winners, right?
How many poxy European trophies do you have?
Listen, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I'll throw that Mickey Mouse throw out with the rest of the rubbish in a minute, with this bottle in a minute, because that trophy is horrible. But that's besides the point. Declan Rice has won, and he now knows how to win. So if that's the case, we're not going to have these losers. We're not going to have a.
So what's he going to go to Arsenal, win the Premier League because he's won the Mickey Mouse trophy?
But yes, going off your premise.
We celebrated a trophy. We haven't won a trophy for 43 years.
Going off your premise of our players apparently being bottle jobs, we now need players that are not bottle jobs, right? And you've won a trophy, no matter how big or how small it is. The point being is that you have a player that we can use who's got quality, has got a winner's mentality, apparently got leadership skills, one of the most instrumental players in the England team. So all of these things.
So why didn't they get Caicedo like you wanted?
Yeah, no, but
he's not one.
I'm not the manager.
But you
so
signed Zinchenko and Jesus.
Yeah, and again,
winners.
so
they didn't do it. It's the manager. I think it could be the manager.
No, but what? Just go back to it, and I'm not dissing your win, right? Because
I am.
For the first time that I can remember in my life, right? I wanted the English team to win that. I wanted
first English team to win it.
Right? I wanted you lot to win it, right? But what I'm saying, I'm just looking on it purely on, if you look at last season, right, and the season before, the reason just using the term, you bottled it is too simplified, I feel, when you're discussing these things. You have to look at the real reasons why we lost it, right? We don't have the squad depth. So on both of those seasons, whether it be the season when we dropped out against Tottenham, we had loads of injuries, and then we just didn't have enough, we just didn't have the squad to cope with those big games at the end. And then again, this season, vital players were out and there's players sort of running on empty. This is where we need to add quality. That's the difference with Man City, where they can bring in Gundogan towards the end of the season. They've used him sparingly, then at the end of the season now he's fresh, he's like they're bringing in a new player. And you saw what he did. So we need to need to bring more quality into our squad.
But you're not adding Rice.
Hold on.
You're also getting rid of Xhaka.
Well, we don't know what
we're getting rid of Partey.
We don't know exactly what we're getting rid of yet. But what I do know is about adding quality, right? And Declan Rice is quality. Declan Rice will hit the ground running in the Premier League. He knows it inside out. And Declan Rice will be excited to play in the Champions League. And a player of his quality should be playing in the Champions League. Right? So you should be saying,
go ahead.
Actually, going to Arsenal is a big step for you, because you are going to be playing in the Champions League.
I wanted to ask you about that, Dan, because I think a lot of what you guys are saying is fair, but there is, and maybe Twitter's not the place to gauge the general feeling, but there is something, or at least the way I read it, that's like this almost disappointment from West Ham fans. Like, why Arsenal? It does feel a little like that.
Because I don't care. This is my point. I don't care where he goes.
Nicky, that was my point. My point is like, West Ham fans, like they're getting a packet of Skittles for him. We're giving him £100 million.
No, you're well underbidding. No, you want to spread it over 6 years.
I want to know about that thing, that sense of like, but Bayern fine, City fine, Arsenal. Like there is that undertone.
It's weird because obviously Rice has been linked with moves away for like years. Arsenal's name never come up because you were languishing in like 5th, 6th, 8th, all of those places.
Mickey's got the list.
Yeah, exactly. He's got the list. He knows it off the top of his head, right? So you was in those positions. Your name it was always Chelsea, it was always Man United, always Man City. Even Real Madrid were linked with him like last season, right? So now all of a sudden it's like, okay, so now one season. Now it's Arsenal's the be all and end all.
You're missing the point, right? Because that's what I'm saying. For a player, players will look at teams and say, where are they at? In the last sort of 4 or 5 years, I'd agree. They look at Arsenal and say, boy, they're not in the Champions League, man. The Europa League team. But let me finish, right? But now, Arsenal's a more exciting place to be at now. And Arsenal are in the Champions League and deserve to be in the Champions League.
But is it the most exciting place to be?
And Arsenal, if you're a footballer, you're looking and saying, Arsenal's a team on the rise. Why would you want to go to Chelsea now? Look at the mess that Chelsea are in. Even at the moment, why would you want to go to Man United at the moment? Only really Ten Hag, but even Man United are still on the first rung, should I say, of that rebuilding process. They're on the way back.
Let me just get you two right here. 2 seasons ago, do you think you could have got Zuma, Aguerd, Skamaka, all of these. We did get Zuma 2 seasons. That's my point. Or 3 seasons ago, then, because you had 1 season when you were in Europa League and you got to the semi-final, and the season before that you were starting to challenge. My point is that you've got these exciting and better quality players because you were performing at a high level. So those players
even in the league you were.
When we had a Greeny season, we were still signing.
But my point is that because an exciting project. Because let's be fair, West Ham are shit. You're not a good club. You're crap. So overall,
It's a bit harsh.
No,
Please
you are.
remember who said what.
No, you
I'm
are.
not backing it.
You are. You
yeah.
are. So let's be fair. Let's be fair.
So what are you then?
Well, hold on.
You're a top. So you're a top club at the bottom of the rung. That's what you've been. You finished below us 2 seasons ago.
The greatest team the world has
No, I'm sorry. I'm not having this nonsense. I'm sorry.
The point being is,
That's a bit harsh,
No,
man.
it's
Come
not.
on,
It's
man.
not. It's
Come on, man.
West Ham, in the grand scheme of things, are a nothing club. Let's be fair.
No,
Let's be
I
fair.
disagree.
And you're what?
So
what?
let's be honest.
Underperforming for the past 10.
Listen, we've got
20.
we've got 13 league titles, 14 FA Cups. So let's not.
5 of them come in the 1930s, but when everyone used to wear a Peaky Blinder hat.
Listen, Aston Villa got Champions League Cup from I don't know
Yeah, so
way back,
what?
so it happens, man. Look, point being is that West Ham, you've got your players because of what? An exciting project that your players came to us. So why wouldn't people like Declan Rice, why wouldn't people like Caicedo, why wouldn't people like Havertz be excited to come to a team like Arsenal who are on the up? Right now,
On the first rung of the ladder, back up.
no, it's not just
Yeah,
the
well,
first
it
one.
is.
It isn't. It isn't.
Of course it
because
is.
It's a continuous
don't
progression.
say process.
It's a continuous
No, I'm sorry, I'm not
progression
having
that
it.
you're seeing. So my point is to
You guys think football is this linear progression?
No, it's
that
not.
You just
It
start and you.
clearly isn't.
Listen, you're there.
It clearly isn't, because
I
the linear
tweeted
means
this.
keep going straight up. It doesn't.
Listen, I tweeted this and I said it 20 years ago. I listened to the same thing. I listened to a bunch of people in a room telling me that this team that they'd assembled were the greatest football team that have ever existed. They're going to go on to achieve more than Man United, more than Liverpool, more European Cups. You've never won a European Cup. Never.
Doesn't matter.
Chelsea have won 2 since then.
Doesn't matter.
Champions League.
They've won
Champions
4.
League, you're on about,
We've
not
we've
European.
heard it.
We have
No,
won
yeah,
European
okay,
Cup.
okay.
No,
Emery,
I'm just
they
saying
go back.
the European Cup. The European Cup, right? So I was listening to these people in 2004. In 2005, Chelsea leapfrogged you in terms of the trophies. They've won 20 trophies in 20 years.
Yeah, we still got more trophies in there.
Yeah,
But listen.
at the moment.
Yeah,
Listen.
at the moment.
What I want to say, Nicky, I'm not in supporting.
No, it's true. Like,
I'm not in
we
support.
don't have to. Listen,
Hold on, let me explain.
because when it comes to
Let me explain.
when it
right?
comes to football,
he speaks
you
his
can-
mind. It's
yeah,
up
when
to
it
him.
comes
I'm
to
not saying to
football,
you.
it's just facts. It's
Listen,
nothing
I'm not
to do
saying
with
to you not
personal.
speak your mind,
It's
right?
true.
But then
Well,
speak
I'm
facts
saying-
about
I-
your
West
club.
Ham
Speak
ain't-
facts.
West Ham ain't this
But
team.
where
say nothing,
I think he does make a good point,
West Ham ain't
right?
this big club,
Where I
like-
think he makes a good point is
Who are
that
your club?
you have, right, West Ham over, take away the Premier League performance of this season, right? The last few years in the Premier League, West Ham have done well. They've like finished in Europa League places. They've looked like, you look at the stadium, 60,000 fans there every week. So you've been able to attract Paquetas and Bowen and players like that, because those players
See a project.
they see a team on the up.
There you
They
go.
see a team. They're like, West Ham is a team on the up.
And then
right?
look what happened this season.
Yeah, but just
that could be
hear
it.
what I'm saying. They see a team on the up. It's the same with Declan Rice. Declan Rice will look at Chelsea, which is where everybody always used to say who will end up. Yeah,
His boyhood club,
he'll look at Chelsea and he'll look at Arsenal. He'll look at Chelsea and say, right now, yeah, of course Chelsea have won serial winners over the years, but at this moment in time, under the new ownership and everything, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. Players like Mason Mount are trying to get out. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like an attractive place. And it's going to be a place where they need to rebuild it and come back, right? He looks at Arsenal, he's like, yeah, that's a place on the up. They challenged for the league last year. They're back in the Champions League. They've got exciting players like Saka, Saliba. You know what I mean? This is a team that, you know what I mean? They've got a manager that's very, very progressive. I fancy some of that. And actually, they're looking, when I'm sitting down and talking to them, they're telling me they're going to add me. They're looking to add other players as well that are going to take it to the next level. That's why he wants to go to a team like Arsenal. It's just, obviously, I think apart from the only other 2 teams you look at right now and say Man City or maybe possibly a Liverpool, and even Liverpool are kind of a bit on a rebuild at the moment. They just had a poor season, haven't they? They're not even in the Champions League. Liverpool, as great a team as and as
Which
great a
maybe
manager
speaks to
Klopp
their
is.
point a little bit, because they went for the quadruple last year and have fallen out the Champions League. So
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. You're still going to a team where you think that's a team on the up. Well, everybody knows Liverpool will be back this year, right? They've had
Can I
a poor
point
season.
This is
to
one
my
of the
original
reasons.
point?
This is one of the reasons that I think that you need to be very careful the way you approach things. Yeah, very careful, because there are clubs waiting to stay at the top. There is teams like Newcastle. It is a different game.
Another club on the up.
From the Peaky Blinders days when you was winning 5-6 league titles.
Listen, when you were winning things, I wouldn't even thought about 20, 30 years, that generation before that, so it happened.
Ed, did you believe it was going to be 20 years before you challenged me?
No, I didn't. But where I look at Arsenal and I say, look, we finished second, fine. We've won 3 FA Cups in the last 10 years. I'm not saying that's an amazing thing to think about. But what I'm looking at, and I'm saying, West Ham and Arsenal, they're not in the same sentence.
Yeah, but it doesn't. We are in the same sentence.
Wait, hold on. In terms of stature of club, in terms of everything to do with the two clubs, West Ham.
But these are different days, mate. These are different days. These are different days. We're closer than you think.
No.
You're 2-3 losses and 2-3 wins away from being.
And that's
we are.
No, but hold on.
We are. We're not talking about.
Listen,
we're not talking about in the fucking 60s, 70s, 80s.
This is where we're
talking about now.
This is where I think we're getting conflicted because you actually believe somewhere in your mind that you're closer to Arsenal than you are.
No, not just that. That's everybody's closer.
And it kind of goes back.
Everybody.
And then it goes back. It kind of goes to the whole thing when you speak about Declan Rice being world class. I'll be honest, Nicky. The reason why is because your team's so shit that you don't even know what a good player is. That's the reason why.
I can't wait till you wank over signing him and you get.
No. So when you get Declan Rice kind of type of players,
ask him if he thinks we're shit.
You put them on a level. You put them on a level that they shouldn't be at. Declan Rice is not world class. But because you're West Ham, he's the best thing since last.
I didn't agree that he was worse.
That's the reason why. So that just shows. It just shows the level of the club.
Frank Lampard went on to win the Ballon d'Or. He played for West Ham,
but he wasn't world class at the time, was he?
No, he wasn't.
But that's what I'm telling you.
So you can't tell me that he isn't world class because I've seen them world class players come through. I know what they look like.
You're now putting Declan Rice in a conversation that he shouldn't be in because you're West Ham.
No. I saw all them. I saw all their progression. I saw from when they come through the youth team to when they left the club.
Wait, we're going round in circles.
So you can't.
I want to reply to
Dan, go.
Because this is what the my response was about, and it goes to your point. The tweet that I was responding to said Arsenal is the best move for Rice, the best. So it's not about is it a good move. It's the best move, and I categorically disagreed with that. Because Man City is by far clearly the best move. And here's why, because a lot of Arsenalists go, well, he's not going to play every week there. Look at the track record that they have. They have these players like the Grealishes, like the Stones, like the Akes that go in. They have to adapt to Pep's style. Maybe first season, he don't play every single game, every single week. He's rotated. By the second season, he's acclimatized to Pep Guardiola's way of playing. He's a much better player than he would have ever been signing for any other club. And he's going to have an elite career and he'll win multiple trophies. Pep Guardiola, and this is what I said when we saw it, don't put, so Nicky, Pep and Arteta in the same sentence because Pep is the best.
Oh, let's let Dan finish. Sorry.
Pep is the best. Yeah. So Arsenal, a good move. But then I said to him, and I didn't say Newcastle was a better. He took it that I said Newcastle's a better move. No, I said don't discount Newcastle. Why aren't we talking about Newcastle? Because they're a club on the rise.
Because they've got
a good coach. They're in the Champions League now. They've got good players. They've not just got the Qatari owners. They've got a good infrastructure. They're a good move. Man United, if they get, even without, the Qatar, the Saudi, no, they've got the Qatari, Newcastle got the Saudis. Even without the Qatari owners, look at their track record. They've been a mess, but they've still been in the Champions League more than Arsenal, right? They've got a good manager. They've got some good players in. They've still got some signings to get.
Since Alex Ferguson left, we've been above Man United more times than they have been above us. What are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about.
They have been in the Champions League.
But it doesn't matter. We've finished above them. We've been better than them over the last.
They've got them more experience in the Champions League, and that's what we're talking about. Champions League.
But no,
Liverpool.
If you're going to go off Nicky's point, if we're not talking about back in the day. We're talking about now. We're talking about now. Yeah. We've finished above them more than they've finished above us.
I think, just going back to your point, I think you're sort of slightly looking at it in the wrong way. If you're right, so this is how I'd approach it. Yeah, if I was Declan Rice's agent or advisor, and I'm sitting down with Declan Rice, right, I'm saying to him, right, Declan, I would agree with you. Your best move would be Man City, right? Because obviously you're nailed on to win things. The only thing I'd say though, Declan, is that you may not play every week
for the first season.
Because we've seen Calvin Phillips go there, who played every minute. I'm not saying he's the same level, but he's a very good player. very highly
got
rated,
injured,
England
though.
international, but played every minute of every game for Leeds United, and he's gone there and he hasn't played.
He got injured,
right?
massive long
so,
term injury.
right? Then I'll say, Declan, all right, let's look at the other clubs. Liverpool would be a decent move for you, but they haven't really come in for you. You know, I mean, they were going for Bellingham. They're not going to be able to have the money to afford to buy you and stuff like that. So that's kind of out. But that would have been a decent move. But that's out. That's not going to happen. You could go to Newcastle. That would be a good move. You could go to Manchester United. Obviously, that would be a good move. You know what I mean? Or you could go to Arsenal. So I'd look at him and say those are three viable options there. They're all in the Champions League, so that ticks a box that you're all in the Champions League. Right, let's look at the other three clubs that are remaining. Newcastle, if you go there, your profile is not going to be as high as going to Arsenal or Man United because they're two bigger clubs. Worldwide, you know what I mean? Just because they look at things like that, even like the fact that your Instagram account is going to quadruple if you go to Arsenal or Man United. It won't at Newcastle at this moment in time because there's still a club growing, right? So profile-wise, for you, for sponsorships, for everything like that, I'm recommending to you either Arsenal or Manchester United, right? The club that's really, really wants you right now is Arsenal. And actually, they're kind of a bit ahead of Man United. Listen, they're a great club. They're probably a bigger club than Arsenal.
They are.
But Arsenal at the moment are a bit ahead of them in their project. Arteta's just, you know, finished second in the league. They've been challenging. They got Saka. They got Saliba. They got all these really
There was only
exciting
one place
players.
behind you as well,
Jesus. They got all these players. United is still really, you know what I mean, they haven't sorted out their ownership yet. You know what I mean? I'm not even sure if you guarantee you start because, you know,
Casemiro,
they've got
70 million.
Casemiro in there. I don't know. Arsenal would be a great place for you to go. And that's how they break it down. That's how they break it down. And that's why I feel when people say it would be a great move for him to go to Arsenal, that's why. Because, you know, and I don't think at this moment in time, normally Chelsea would be in that argument
100%.
and probably ahead of Arsenal because of all the things they win. But if you actually look at Chelsea over the past few seasons, apart from obviously when they won that Champions League, since they've won that, it's a mess.
And Nicky, you two know exactly why behind the scenes, why, because of the family issues with Chelsea, hence why he's not going there, right? That's the reason why he's not going there. We know that there's been some broken relationships.
But I don't even think it's a mess.
So
Chelsea's not in a good place at the
let's
moment.
rule Chelsea out because of the personal, you know, relationship, which you know about, right? So so you know about that. So that's precisely.
I've heard
of that. Yeah, heard
Allegedly.
of that. Allegedly,
Yes,
right?
rumors.
So let's remove Chelsea out of that because he wasn't going to go there anyway. So we're now down to the next four clubs. He's not going to go Spurs, so we know that. So we're now down to Newcastle, Man United, Arsenal, and Man City.
Bayern as well.
And
Let's throw
Bayern.
Bayern in there because they're generally interested.
Okay, that's fine. We kind of know from some of the rumours around he doesn't want to go abroad. So let's remove them out.
Why? But what, we're gonna go on every rumour?
No, we're not. But this is like this. What I'm doing is
Me personally, I don't think Declan Rice has said a word.
Okay, that's fine. But okay, no.
Really? Well, let's hear. What do you mean by that?
How is it? When has he had time to say anything?
No.
The only thing I've ever seen him publicly say, because I'm hearing Arsenal fans saying he said he wants to go to Arsenal. The only things I've seen him publicly come out and say is, I'm happy here at West Ham. I know there's interest from other clubs, but I'm happy here.
No, okay.
And the other one is when the little kid was filming him doing paintball. And he went, I'm West Ham, mate.
What I'm doing is I'm talking about reputable journalists that come out and say things.
You
that-
worship the old David
No,
journalist.
no,
David
Mudryk shirt.
Yes,
Arsenal.
all I'm doing is
Last
I'm using the same ideas that you would do if West Ham you were trying to buy someone, right? So I'm not making. It's
No,
not
but
conjecture.
I think there is one very good one. Is that Bayern Munich said, right? They wanted Declan Rice and they were coming for him, and they said. They then pulled out and said, "There's no point because we've been told he wants to go to."
Yeah, so let's not conjecture. All I'm saying,
okay.
out of the clubs remaining, Man City, Newcastle, Man United, they may not have the money because of the ownership problem. So you're down to the next three clubs: Arsenal, Man City, and Newcastle. None of the other two clubs really want him at this moment.
Man City.
Wait, hold it. Man City
Man City
have just come into it in the last 24 hours,
That's an
48
issue.
hours, right? Which is an issue. But my point is that you're talking about Newcastle, you're talking about Manchester United, you're talking about all these other clubs, but none of them actually are seeing him as their first choice viable option. Arsenal are the ones that are going in for him. So it's almost like, well, what do you want him to do? Like, do you want him to just wait around and just dilly that and keep signing?
I don't want him to do anything.
That's my point. So it's like, when you look at someone like Rice, the project that we're on, and the timing is everything in football. And the timing right now is that Arsenal are looking to be on the up, the trajectory looks to be on the up, and all the other clubs don't want him. So it kind of marries up.
That's wrong. They don't want him. You can't say that. You've just done your job early. You're further ahead.
Yes,
in
because
the right.
But I'll tell you where I was with this tweet, right? And I'm going to. This weren't even about Declan Rice. This was about friends of mine that was telling me that they're going to go on and dominate football. They're going to beat City. I did not mention Declan Rice's name once.
That's true.
As I said, I don't care where Declan Rice goes. It doesn't matter to me. All I know that he's not going to be playing for West Ham United next season. So we have to try and get as much money as we can. That is it.
And that's why it's in our interest to hold out and wait for a bidding war.
All I've got off of Arsenal fans is abuse. It's because you're laughing at me.
No, I'm not that. I'm not saying that at all.
What do you mean? You said we was the worst, one of the worst.
The fee is something different. That's. I'm not talking about anything to do. I'm not laughing at, oh, you're losing your captain.
Some of your fans are
not
shameless.
me. No, don't. You can't put me. I'm talking.
You're kind of there.
My thing was that Dan made it seem that going to Arsenal is like a third, fourth tier option, and I'm like, well, hold on a second. No, it's not.
It's not the best option.
Okay, but it's not the best.
No, but
because
the
Man
best
City
option,
is
I
Man
agree,
City. Yeah, okay,
is
fine.
City.
Fine.
But I feel that if you actually look at his options, the next best option is Arsenal.
Man United with Qatar, and that's what I'm saying. If they get
but they haven't got Qatar yet, have they?
But yeah, that's what I'm saying.
haven't got
That was the
Qatar yet.
asterisk. It's not a terrible
I
move
don't think
regardless.
this Declan Rice thing is going to listen. I've been listening to things for a week, saying it's going to be wrapped up tomorrow. I don't think this is a done and dusted deal. David Sullivan is not going to bankroll Arsenal. He's not going to bankroll him and let him have him over 7 years. We can't afford to.
You two will know him not on a personal level, but you will know him as a player and as a captain, as a leader of your club. What about if he's a player who wants to go to and be a big piece of a pie? And he might want to go to Arsenal and be the person that turns it around.
He has got that trait in him.
There you go. So why can't we now look at the player and be like, do you know what? He doesn't want to go to Man City because Man City, they make it so easy. Like, it's all about just, he might not like the style of play. Whatever
He ain't turning them down.
No, but you don't.
Can I build on that point?
I know that.
Can I build on that point? Because I know I'm playing host, but actually that is one thing I'd say is that I'm surprised that some, not all, as you said, you don't care, that some West Ham fans might have an issue with the Arsenal move, because I'd argue there's something kind of admirable about it. Like, yeah, like if City come in, you could go there, and we kind of know it's kind of going to be easy for you.
If he goes there, makes the difference.
There's something very admirable about. I've got my family in London.
He has got that.
It's not Chelsea and Tottenham. It's Arsenal. That's
what I was saying, Nicky. Right, it's a bit like when Van Dijk went to.
Yeah.
When Van Dijk went
You
to
want to make
Liverpool,
the
he could have went elsewhere. He could have went other teams, right? But he said, "Nah, I want to go." I think he said he was a Liverpool
You tried to
supporter,
sign
didn't
him, I think.
We were interested. We didn't
got
cough off the dome. But there were teams interested in him, right? But he said, "Nah, I want to go. That's where I want to go, and that's where." And look what he did. Look what he transformed them.
Yep.
And I'm hoping that Declan Rice can do a similar thing.
No, like he's going to go to the highest bidder. That's straight up and down.
Well,
the highest.
He has a choice in that as well.
No, you can't say that, Dan, because the player in these deals, right? If a player says, "Yo, I want to go there," and you're getting decent money, that will sway.
If City offer 120 and Arsenal offer 100, he is going Man City.
I don't think City are not going to offer 120.
Well, I'm just putting that as an example. Like I'm saying, like if the other club's offering us more and you're offering us less, we ain't going to go.
They'll accept that bid, but then it's going to come to Arsenal. If they match the bids, then he'll go where he wants to spend.
I want to round off the show. It's been a
Don't worry
great
about us,
debate.
man. We'll spend.
It's been a
over 6 years. Over 6 years.
All right.
I know we're not fucking Littlewood's catalogue, man.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, to be fair.
All right, stop before he says something he regrets.
Give it to you over 10 years.
We're going to start to round this up, but I actually want to ask you two one final question, especially Nicky, because of what you said about Arsenal's kind of up and down, in the last 7-8 years, and just doubts about whether the trajectory is always necessarily upwards. Do you change your mind if Rice goes to Arsenal? Is Rice that good that if we get him, you think
It
I've got to
absolutely
really
make a
take them
difference.
seriously.
It
No,
absolutely
but in terms of what
make a
you're saying
difference.
about the
but there's
title
more. I think there's
challenging,
more. I think there's more needed. I think there's more needed, and I'll say that. Rice would
I
be
agree.
an
I agree.
absolute. He would be the cog that gets you going. But there's more needed.
I tell you what,
you can have all the components of a gun. You need to fire the bullet.
I'll tell you who we need. We need Antonio because West Ham are so good.
Stop it.
We need a
Stop
Gwen.
it.
We need Fabianski back.
Wallace, your thoughts?
Because they're so good, right?
Whatever doubts
The
you have.
only Jamaican international with a European.
And you know what? I'm half Jamaican. Mum, he's rubbish.
Dan,
I like Antonio.
whatever doubts you might have about Arsenal, do they significantly decrease if Rice is in that 11 for you?
Yeah, it decreases for sure. It's a great signing. It improves your team as a whole, but as in the extra, like if you're spending, I think it's going to take more than 100 million. Let's just say 100 million. You spend 100 million on Rice, 60 million on Havertz.
Yeah.
How much more money have you got to spend on the rest of the team? How much is there? So,
They need a forward.
you need another
that's tight.
forward. You need potentially another left back. Tierney's probably on his way out. Like there's positions all
Centre
around
back.
the pitch.
I
You
think
need
there's
another right wing.
I think there's other things. There's other things, the factors at play, and this is all I was saying with my tweet. Yeah, is that listen, you've got faith. I respect your faith, but me, when I'm looking statistically, and I'm looking about what happened this season with the likes of Liverpool. The likes of Newcastle that could listen. Newcastle can come and blow us all out the water if they wanted. The likes of Chelsea failed. There's a lot of factors. It's not as simple as we're going to go next season and we'll get to this point and we'll win 3 more games and we'll win. You've got to win 30 games.
I listen. I agree with you on that. But what I do say is there are absolutely no guarantees. But if you're going to win leagues, you need quality, right? And I'm just happy.
Not that we know.
I'm just looking at it, and I'm just happy that Arsenal are identifying quality and going and get. I mean, normally we wouldn't even go 100 million. We would not even think of spending that in years gone by. For me, it's a statement of intent that Arsenal are looking to spend that amount of money on one player, right? That shows me that they're recognising the fact that to get over the line, you've got to add top quality to the team. And obviously, I get where you guys are coming from. You're losing a top quality player. And then, it's the next chapter for you guys now. How do you replace him and that? And, that's going to be the job for your manager to use that money wisely. But for us, it'd be a fantastic signing.
I agree with that.
And will you get it over the line because you've let a few players?
It would be very Arsenal to
You
let
wanted
us
to F up, I know that.
It'd be glorious.
It'd be straight on the phone. Robbie, I told
This
you
is
to
the same guy.
It would be very.
This is the same guy that's championing him as being a possible world-class player. Now he wants him to fail. Well, listen, mate. I tell you what, this is the scale of West Ham. They want Eddie Nketiah. That's the level that they.
I don't see him not
That's
playing for Arsenal.
the level. That's the level.
I actually think if he went there, I actually think he's.
But that's the
very
level.
well.
That's the level that.
That's just before.
Where you go? I'd like to see you go West Ham next
Listen,
year.
mate. I tell you what. I'm on the way home. I'm going past Stratford to go home.
Oh yeah, with the video's not out.
Listen,
Why don't you leave it to Monday?
I told
Why don't you
these guys.
stop off there?
I told these guys where I live. When I told these guys where I
I'd
live,
log off Twitter.
It's
Fine.
West
Put it
Ham.
on Europe's digital screen.
Listen, mate.
Europe's biggest digital screen.
Listen, mate, I tell you what,
day.
West Ham. I tell you what, you got a nice stadium, and that's about it. I've been to the box.
No, we ain't. That's where you're wrong. We ain't got a nice stadium. It looks alright.
No, it's a nice stadium when you do Olympics. Let's say that.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Let's just say a massive round of applause for Dan and Nikki from West Ham Fan TV. They've been absolutely fantastic.
And for not fighting him, you know what I mean?
Go easy on us in the comments.
A massive well done to Robbie and Lee. I mean, do you know what? I don't know if I can applaud some of that, but fair play. At least you said what you think, and I guess we'll like that. Get in the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts, everyone, on all of this. Are Arsenal good enough for Declan Rice? I think some good points were made, but I think Arsenal have a lot to offer him as well. Let's see. Hit the subscribe button and go subscribe to West Ham Fan TV. Just go look over there. Just won the Conference League. The content is
Subscribe to your more bollocks.
Or to see a Mickey Mouse trophy. Which one?
Oh God! Right, wrap it up.
Mickey Mouse more than you.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.